everybody? How you all doing today? Christian here, and welcome to another Magic of the Gathering Commander deck profile, dudes. You guys have been really liking my Dragon profile. You guys have liked my Atraxa deck profile, and I figured, hey, since you guys enjoyed those profiles, I might as well do a deck profile of another deck that's also a huge favorite to me that I've been really enjoying very well. Apologies for the glare. Had a minor mess up earlier with the webcam, so the camera glare is going to be not the greatest. I am going to get a new webcam very soon. Anyways, so you guys have been digging my last two deck profiles, and it's not often I do anything besides dragons and infect. Spoiler alert, there is going to be one infect card and one dragon E card in the deck, but it is by definition not an infect in dragons. So I wanted to showcase a profile that's not dragons, not infect for once, and this has honestly become a deck that's been kind of a huge personal favorite, believe it or not. I've talked about this deck profile, this deck before. I believe I brought up my Dragon deck. I don't know if I brought up my Atraxa deck, but this is a deck that I've put in a lot of love. And when I mean a lot of love, I mean a lot of love. Perfection wise, when it comes to playability and having the best results, if that makes sense. And what I mean by how much work I put in this deck constructed wise, I mean I put more love into this deck. I've literally put this deck more love into building this deck more than any other of my decks before, and I mean all of my previous decks up till this deck profile, and that includes all my decks, my except for one. That includes my Miriam. That includes my Finn the Fangbearer. That includes my upcoming Skitherix deck. That includes my Corvolt. I've even my Miriam deck. I've even put more love in this deck than even my Atraxa Infect deck. And you guys seen my previous videos how much I love Atraxa, so you know how much effort I definitely have put in this deck. The only deck I have put more effort into perfecting gameplay wise is only Dragon, and that's not even a fair comparison. So this shows how much love I put in with a deck like this, and there is a personal reason why. Now, as you all can see, this is a Dogmeat deck, and this is a Fallout deck. Now, I have played Fallout before. I don't really consider myself a fan. I played Fallout 3, I played Fallout 4. I enjoyed them, and they were really fun, and I definitely do plan on doing a Let's Play / stream of them very soon. I have never beat those games, to be honest. And those are the only three Fallout games I've ever played. I'm not knowledgeable of the Fallout series too much. I'm not knowledgeable with shut up. I'm not too knowledgeable of anything outside of Fallout 3 or 4. I'm just more casual guy. But the main reason I put this deck is not because of me being a fan of Fallout or anything such like that. It is because of three personal reasons. Number one, I've always wanted a German Shepherd as a commander. And here we go. My dream came true. We got a German Shepherd commander. Number two, Dogmeat was my favorite character of Fallout game. I definitely did enjoy having Dogmeat as my companion, believe it or not. Obviously. While I'm not a fan of Fallout series itself, like I mentioned, I still had a soft side for Dogmeat, and I'm still looking to this day to get a pop figure of Dogmeat. It would be really cool if I got a pop figure Dogmeat. But the third and most important reason why I decided to get the Dogmeat precon and put the amount of love in this deck as I did. That is because of a personal reason of a dog that used to be in my life. If you guys have watched my old Yu-Gi-Oh videos, if you get on my old channel, if you guys used to be active on my Yu-Gi-Oh content, you guys might actually remember her. But for those of you guys who don't know, I had a beautiful, lovely dog by the name of, I don't know if you guys can see that well. Phone glare might be a little bit, but yeah, that is my dog. That is my baby girl. I think a good amount of you guys may recognize her. Again, as mentioned, if you guys have watched my previous videos in the past, of my Yu-Gi-Oh content in the past, you might know who she is. But for those of you guys who don't know who she was, Ruby was mine and my dad's dog. She was our baby girl. We loved her so much. We love her so much. We've had her as a puppy. And yes, as I said, she is a German Shepherd Husky mix. She was built different. She would chase bunnies, woodchucks, tear them apart. She would chase deer. Every time she would go swimming, she loved swimming. She would make the biggest splashes ever to water. It would be like a monster wolf, whatever, would be in swimming those waters. When she's not even that big. She is a big girl. She was kind of a biggish girl, but she was more on the small side compared to the husky German Shepherd such. But despite her being built different, she was an absolute sweetheart. Everybody, every single person who met Ruby fell head over heels for this dog. And I mean everybody, even people who didn't care normally for dogs fell in love with Ruby. She was just an absolute cuddle monster. She loved being with people. She loved making people smile. Maybe in another video or another stream, I could talk about stories about Ruby. I don't want this video to go too long as it is. I think I am kind of yapping too much, a little bit, to be honest. I won't lie. But if you guys want to hear stories about Ruby, I'll tell you guys in another video or a stream. Maybe Starry and I could show you some pictures she's done for her. But yeah, and unfortunately, around when Ruby hit 9 years old, she did unfortunately pass away, being a little bit sick and being on the older side. And it was definitely very devastating to my dad. So she died around 2023 November. The precon did come out in 2024, if I remember correctly, but I never picked up the precon until later on. Ruby died 2023. Starry and I, we got engaged. We got focused about the marriage and personal things that was going on with Star Wars World at the time. So we couldn't really dabble with Dogmeat at the time. And at the time, Dogmeat was a lot of Fallout stuff was kind of selling like hotcakes. So I was certain that I wasn't going to get to see this precon for a long time. So a whole year goes by, a whole year and a half. The precon comes to my local LGS. I saw the precon. I was like, oh, I must have it. Got it for $60, and I've been doing a lot of test plays with it. I played the precon quite a bit. I borrowed a buddy's Voltron deck a little bit, and I made some adjustments with this deck, and I mean quite a bit. Just adjustments. I took some feedback, some criticism from my buddies who gave me some ideas how to make this deck better, and I took those suggestions to heart, and I have perfected this deck to be an absolute unit, to the point where every time people see my Dogmeat deck, everyone's always saying, "Oh crap, it's Christian's Dogmeat deck. We gotta build our guards." And there's a reason why, because this deck can definitely go hard, and it is very fun. So yeah, that's why I built this deck right here. Um, this is a tribute to mine and my father's baby girl. This is a tribute to Ruby. So that's all I gotta say too much. If you guys want to see the deck profile, I'll show you guys the deck profile. I made quite a bit of changes. I made some tweakings here and there. It's not perfect. There is some adjustments I want to do with the deck very soon, but we'll go over them a little bit, and I'll go do my explanation why I'm doing the way it is. So with that being said, Ruby girl, and this is for you, girl. We love you. This deck profile is dedicated to you. If you guys are just here in NetTech, I did leave the deck list in the description down below for those of you guys who are watching this on YouTube. I only ask that you drop a like on your way out. It means a lot to me, and share this video with other people. It would help the channel grow. At the time this video is being uploaded on YouTube, we just hit 860 followers on Twitch. We're a little bit more. If you want to subscribe to YouTube, that's cool. Or if you want to follow Twitch, that would be really appreciated. We're a lot more active on Twitch than we are on YouTube. Generally, we do Let's Plays and we do shiny hunting every now and then. We're almost at 860 followers. We're almost at 1,000 followers. It would mean a lot to me. We hit that goal very soon. And with that being said, onwards to the deck profile. So, the commander himself, Dogmeat. You guys can't see that well. This is the Surge Foil one, and this is the again, apologies for the bad camera angle. I'm gonna get this camera replaced very soon. So yeah, this one I believe this one is a Surge Foil one. I just got the Surge Foil one. There it is. Now you saw the little glare right there. I got the Surge Foil Dogmeat right here, and I love this card right here. I do like the other version where Dogmeat's on doing like a sit pretty, but I didn't but I kind of like this one, the art of this one a little bit more, just because it makes Dogmeat a little bit more lovey-dovey. It reminds me of Ruby a little bit more, how lovey-dovey Ruby was. So yeah, I like this one a little bit more. That's why I got this as a search file. So anyways, so for those of you guys who don't know what Dogmeat is, so Dogmeat is a Naya commander, red, green, and a white for a 3/3 dog. And he says, when Dogmeat enters the battlefield, mill the 5 cards from top of your library. Then, actually no, I'm sorry. Let me read that better. Okay, there you go. When Dogmeat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards. Then return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is pretty good. Every time your Dogmeat enters the battlefield, doesn't matter if by casting, doesn't matter you play some sort of other card to cheat out Dogmeat for whatever reason. Every time Dogmeat enters the battlefield, you get to mill 5 cards from your library, and you pick any aura or equipment from your graveyard to your hand. And remember, it does not specify it has to be 5 cards. It could just be like 5 any card from your graveyard after you mill your 5 cards. So this is really good to do like some little tutoring action, a little small toolboxing action here and there. Now, unfortunately, if you do raw dog, no pun intended, this commander immediately, you are kind of forced at a lot of games to mill your 5, even when you don't have auras and equipment in graveyard. So you can dig for something, no pun intended, dig for something that's really important. Unfortunately, when that happens, there are small occasions where you will mill the 5 cards and you will not have a grave equipment or an aura in your graveyard to grab out with this effect. So it is a bummer. It does occasionally happen, but if you get a good amount of equipment in your hand or on the board, it's not always the end of the world. So, but that's not the main thing we run Dogmeat for. We run Dogmeat for not only for that ability, we also run Dogmeat for his final ability. It also has whenever a creature you control that's equipped, enchanted, or equipped attacks, create a junk token. And what junk tokens are pretty much essentially like treasure tokens, but a little bit different. Unlike treasures, they can only be activated only at sorcery speed. But when you sacrifice the artifact, exile top card of your library, you may play that card this turn, activate only as a sorcery. So so the goal of this deck right here, as you guys can tell right here, the goal of this deck is all about toolboxing. You're all about toolboxing. You're all about using Dogmeat's mill ability and junk counter gaining ability to dig through your deck. And remember, these junk tokens say you may play those cards. So if you get a land, if you haven't had land for a turn, you can definitely get out land immediately. If you're digging for a certain specific equipment, auras, or other important cards, essentially. Junk tokens will allow you to dig through your deck at a very fast rate, and you can definitely grab all of your combo cards at a very fast steady pace. Now, unfortunately, there are some instances where maybe you'll hit a card you don't want to play yet. Maybe like you already made your land return, but you unfortunately create exile another land. You unfortunately can't play that, which is a bummer. That does happen. Sometimes you'll exile cards where you don't have enough mana to play that card, and unfortunately, if any of the said situations happen, yes, unfortunately, those cards will still stay permanently exiled for the rest of the game. That is unfortunately a bummer. But once you get your functions going, and once things start flowing well, you can definitely pop off with combos with this deck to help you generate a good board with this deck right here. Now, there is a lot of directions you could do with Dogmeat. You could do like a mixed build, auras and equipments. You could do pure equipments. You could do pure auras. You can go wide and have Dogmeat support other creatures. With this build right here, I decided to do a Voltron Dogmeat. My goal of this deck right here is to give Dogmeat the good stuff. Since Dogmeat can be cast so cheaply, while he is weak in power, since he can grab you stuff at a very fast rate, this gives you an opportunity to just shove in, giving him a buttload of equipment, so you can go on Voltron style. While he does not deal out damage as fast as, let's say, Cloud or Tifa, the advantage Dogmeat has with those commanders is that, again, he can toolbox at a very fast rate, so you can find answers, you can find your lands, you can find your equipment, and get your combos going, get your 21 plus damage in before something bad happens. So that is the goal of Dogmeat. Go big or go wide. If that makes, or go big and go, fuck, I fucked that up. Go big and go hard. There you go. Took me a moment to spit that out. Holy shit, I'm sorry. All right, so we're gonna try to speed run the lands best we can. Because I will admit I did kind of take a little while with that. I apologize. So for the lands, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing really too crazy. You have your usual staple stuff. Your your three shocks, your three fetches, all the way around. No explanation needed, and your tri lands of the nine colors. No real explanation with these. Oh, by the way, this is bracket two, but I do dabble with bracket three now and then. Even though I don't play game changers in this deck, I do run bracket two or bracket three with this deck. Anyways, so Naya lands. No explanation needed with the Naya lands. Shocks, fetches, tries, all that such. Basics is where things got a little odd, to be honest. I won't lie. So for the basics, since now even though this is a Naya deck, I decided to lean more towards of a Boros theme, believe it or not. So that's why we're running 6 planes. Uh oh, oh, interesting. I couldn't have sworn I had another. I couldn't have sworn I was running 5 mountains. Okay, well, I guess we're running 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I was right. I see what I did wrong. Okay. Yeah, I think looking at this now, at very awkward timing on YouTube. Yeah, I'm running. I'm leaning towards a a Boros theme, to be honest. Since Boros is the main two colors, this has gone more of a equipment themed deck. So because of that, the green isn't really as needed. You run just enough green for not only for the dog meat, but you also run dog meat because there is a few good green spells we run. We do run Birds of Paradise, Delighted Halfling, and there is a few good green cards are actually really good, which I will showcase very soon. But it's not a high number of green stuff, to be honest. I know, right? The pothead is not using too many green stuff. That's funny. Jokes aside, this has gone a little bit more of a Boros theme. I decided to go a little bit more towards the red white. This is hyper offense, hyper aggressive. Red white happens to be the two colors that get out the equipments the fastest, and this is a more equipment focused deck. So I do lean towards being aggro and being hyper aggressive. So yeah, that's all we're really doing for the basics. So the basics, I will probably make some changes. I think maybe say I'll do like maybe cut out plains for a forest. I'm happy with the mountains, but I do need to make some changes with the forest and the plains, to be honest. Even though I am leaning towards red white, I wouldn't mind at least a little bit more green. Anyways, so basic support stuff. Fabled Passage, Evolving Wilds, Terra Expense. Um, no explanation for like bracket 2, 3 stuff. And then we have some Scrylands. Now, Scrylands are very helpful with this deck right here. Not only for, yeah, they are, but it's a bummer they come in tapped, unfortunately, unless you have ways to untap them, which we will get to that very soon. But they do give you the ability to allow you to get a free Scry 1 every time they enter. And as I previously mentioned, there are going to be times you don't want anything good in your graveyard, and you want to make sure you hit your equipments. So maybe with this ability, you can use this to see if you get like equipment type of your deck. I'm like, okay, cool. I want this to be my graveyard for dog meat. I will leave that at top. What if I get something really good? I don't want to get milled by dog meat. If I see like let's say a Birds of Paradise. I don't want Birds of Paradise to get milled. I'll be like, no, birds, you're going back to bottom. And I can save my birds from being milled, all that such. And then we have the basic lane checkers. I don't know how to explain them. They can at least be fetched by fetch land, which is very nice at least. And then 3 of the land checkers, how the heck you want to call them. Shut up, I'm high, leave me alone. But I think we get the explanation with those lands. And then for the lands, for the obvious stuff, Command Tower, Zog Orchard. Oh no, I'm sorry. Path of Ancestry, Zog Orchard. No explanation with these lands. And then we have Rogue's Passage. This is a Voltron themed deck, so it does make sense to definitely have a Rogue's Passage. Now, it is pretty costly, unfortunately to say. It is a big whopping God knows how much mana to be like 5 mana in total, including using this card as well, in order to be able to allow your Dogmeat to be unblockable, or even your other creatures you want to be unblockable for other reasons and such. But yeah, it is what it is. You don't optimally pop off with this card, but when it does nice. And even though this deck is more of a equipment themed, as I said at the beginning of this video, I do have a small list of auras, not a crazy amount. So we're only running 6 auras, but only 3 of them can be enchanted on my creatures. So we have the what I call the land excuse me, what I call the land adjustment auras. You're playing green, so it does make sense to be able to utilize cards like that at the very least, especially when you're running very little green. So if you get lucky, like a first turn forest, and you're able to drop one of these, you should be pretty set for the most part. So if you don't hit your equipment, hitting these with Dogmeat is not terrible. It's better than not hitting nothing at all. And there were a couple times depending on situations, I have grabbed these with Dogmeat's effect, and they have saved my bacon. I did thought about cutting them out, but after those skin bacon saving moments, I was like, nah, these 3 cards are definitely staying. I might even get foil upgrades of them too in the near future with the rest of the deck. And then the only auras we play that can be enchanted onto my creatures, especially Dogmeat. So we have Bear Umbra. So it has totem armor, which means if the chain creature would die, you sack this instead, and the creature will not die, which is awesome. But the main thing we run this for is for its what it does for a chain creature. So it has a chain creature gets +2/+2, and have the ability of when this creature attacks, you untap all your lands. So which is definitely very nice because you have a good amount of lands in this deck that do unfortunately enter tap. You have combos that you do have situations where you tap out your lands quite a bit, and this just gives you a way to essentially generate more mana, so you can do more crazy things, which is pretty cool. So Bear Umbra is pretty nice. And then this is kind of a spicy tech, no pun intended. I decided to try out in this deck, and I kind of played it for the flavor wise. This is the dragon. This is the quote unquote dragon card that I'm playing with this deck. And I'm very surprised not too many people are trying this card in their Dogmeat decks. The card is called Dragonic Destiny. For those of you guys who don't know, it's an aura that says a chain creature gets +1/+1, has flying, haste, and gains tap 1. This creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it has colorless fire breathing, which is pretty nice, and it's a dragon and its additional other ties. When chain creature dies, return Dragonic Destiny to its owner's hand. So it's still going to graveyard like most auras do. If your Dogmeat ever dies, you can immediately put this in your hand. So that way, if you have enough mana to replay Dogmeat and enchant Dogmeat with Dragonic Destiny, you can immediately attack with Dogmeat immediately, which is definitely very helpful for a deck like this. So yeah, Dogmeat, and not just your Dogmeat, but let's say Dogmeat gets too costly, you have another creature you want to give, flying haze, all that such. This is definitely very helpful right there. And plus, considering this is a Voltron, it's just great with Dogmeat because this gives you, if you have not enough equipments or mana to equip your other equipments to your Dogmeat, you can at least give this to power up your Dogmeat's power, so you can definitely get in more commander damage and or have enough mana to spend to give Dogmeat just enough power to kill that opponent, which has definitely come up a good amount of times. So yeah, love the card for flavor wise. Funny story about this card. I have a buddy who also plays Dragon. He's really good. He's got a cool anti-meta build Dragon. I really like his deck. Um, he played Dragon. He played his Dragon against my Dogmeat deck. I had this enchanted onto my Dogmeat. He tries to play Crooks of Fate to destroy Dogmeat. He's like, I'm getting rid of this damn fucking dog. Crooks of Fate. Get rid of that. Declare, destroy all non-dragons. I looked at a dead poker face, and I was like, okay. by the way, Dogmeat's a dragon because of my Dragonic Destiny. So it says Dogmeat is a dragon. Dogmeat will not die to Crooks of Fate. And he was like, "What?" It was like really funny. We all laughed when that crap happened. Yeah, but yeah, it's a really cool card. I love what this card does. And then finally for the enchantments auras, we have the obvious Mantle of Agents. Mantle of the Agents. Yeah, I think if you guys have been around for a hot minute, we definitely know how good this card is. The Fallout version of this card isn't bad. As you guys may have seen with the basic lands and certain other lands, I have kind of cut out a lot of cards in particular for alter in universe. It's not, I'm not against, like I said, I'm not against Fallout. I have nothing against Fallout, and I'm not like one of those guys who says, "Oh, I hate Universe Beyond." No, I'm not. I do welcome Universe Beyond in Magic. I really do. I'm just not the biggest fan of using Fallout cards for the majority of my decks, to be honest. Especially when it's supposed to be cards that we're supposed to recognize. And there has been a couple times where some of the artwork of some of these cards have unintentionally confused people. So I figured, hey, maybe down the road I'll remove the Fallout version of these cards and just replace them with the regular versions if I can. Obviously, I can't do that with every card in this deck, especially Dogmeat, because Dogmeat is a Fallout card of the Fallout universe cards. But stuff that I can control to make more better sense. Cards I can control, I'd rather be not Universe Beyond, if that makes sense. Like, if you guys like Universe Beyond, it's totally cool. I'm not bashing anybody who likes Universe Beyond. That's just how I roll. That's just how I roll my decks. It's no beef against anything. I just prefer using Magic the Gathering in universe cards if I can help it, unless there's a certain exception. I will confess I did get the Stroller Precon, and I might make some upgrades to that in the near future, but it is not because of me being a Fallout fan or a Final Fantasy fan. I just want to play Eastrola because Eastrola was a cool card. I will say that. Anyways, so that is it for the auras. Now for the main thing this deck is to hear. This deck is all about the equipments. Yeah. So for the equipments, we have Sword of Feast of Famine. Who does not love a good old fashioned Sword of Feast of Famine? I don't think there's no explanation needed why this card is in here. So Sword of Feast of Famine. Sword of Fire and Ice. This is a card that a lot of people are kind of iffy with, to be honest, and I can see why. Don't get me wrong. The one thing I will say about this card, it has gotten slightly better recently, because nowadays, have we seen in Magic recently, a lot more weaker creatures are starting to see a lot more competitive play for versus the more expensive creatures. And there's a good reason for that, for obvious reasons, because how good you get great effects for low cost, which definitely makes sense. Which is why I think Fire Ice is definitely very good. We're seeing a lot more weaker creatures run around more often, and no matter what bracket we play. So this is just good to just pick off really good creatures like Orcus Bowmaster if I play bracket 3. This can pick off Birds of Paradise, Delighted Halflings, some other really good cards in general that you just want to be able to pick off before things get too out of hand. So and also the protection from red, plus a way to give Dogmeat protection in blue is definitely very helpful. And then Sword of Forge Frontier for some ramping and some more digging as well. Light and Shadow, because there is a good amount of creatures we are running in this deck as well, and sometimes we do want them back. Plus, Protection Black is always a nice bonus. And the 3 life every time you get a creature back is definitely very useful. There has been a good amount of times where I will let Dogmeat stay in a graveyard. When Dogmeat dies, I will not put him back in my command zone. I will let him sit in a graveyard, and then I will give this to like another creature, have that creature deal combat damage, and then instead of having to pay five mana, 7 mana, do the commander attacks, I can just get back Dogmeat from my graveyard back to my hand, and then I can just hard cast Dogmeat for 3 mana instead of paying the 5 mana, 7 mana due to commander attacks, which is definitely very beneficial. And then Sword of Truth and Justice. I won't lie, I am kind of thinking about cutting this card out of the deck, to be honest. It's not terrible. There's not a lot of things that can really make this card really that great. I do like the protection from white and blue. There's not too many good swords that gives you protection from blue, I fear, unfortunately, which is kind of the reason why I'm running Truth and Justice. But at the same time, I am thinking about taking this card out for like the blue-green one. I forgot what that one's called, but that's the one that when critical creature deals combat damage, you create a 2/2 green wolf and you make that opponent mill 10. I'm probably gonna eventually take that card out, take Truth just out for that card. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of debating about it, but it does have some usage. It's a good way to give Dogmeat some more +1/+1 counters. That way you have more ways to power up your Dogmeat, especially permanently. And also, as I confessed in the beginning, I do have one card that does allow me to do infect damage. So let's say I've done like 9 infect damage total. This will trigger even with the infect ruling, and this will allow me to proliferate. So let's say I do 9 damage of infect while this is equipped to Dogmeat. This will proliferate, and then allow me to proliferate, and then I can get that person to like 10 infect and still beat that person right there if that comes to something like that. Or I can make like political deals with someone, be like, hey, I know you're playing +1/+1 counters or planeswalkers. I will do you solid. I will use my sword to give your stuff some counters. In exchange of doing that, helping you out, I only ask for like XYZ good things. So it's good for some politicking if you want to go with that route. But I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it in. Maybe I'll take it out. We'll see how it is in the near future. Maybe in the future deck profile, you'll see my decision with this deck. And another reason why we're not playing auras before we get to the rest of the equipments, another reason, and this was a good criticism from my buddy. He criticized that another reason why I should take out auras and run more equipments is because a lot of equipments, especially what you saw, gives my Dogmeat protection from certain colors, and the majority of the good auras are usually colored. And because of complicated rulings with the swords and the auras, a sword that gives equipped creature protection from that color will unfortunately make auras of that said color fall off, and it just becomes a complete waste of that aura, unfortunately. So that's another reason why I'm kind of leaning towards equipments more. If you guys want to do a hybrid in your decks, do a hybrid of equipments and auras, I recommend it. It is lots of fun. Just don't run too many of the cards that you see me running, of the swords of X and Y, if you can help it. And then some other sword cards. We have Black Blade Reforged. Not a terrible card. Gives a quick creature +1/+1 for each lane I control, and being quick, I am running a good amount of equipment creatures besides Dogmeat. So equipping this bad boy for 3, dropping this for 2 is not terrible. And I love this card right here, Sword of Amethyst. This card being equipped to one card in particular, I think it's called Cloud Midgar Mercenary. Yeah, I think it was Cloud Midgar Mercenary. Where the heck is he? I'll do a quick spoiler. There he is. Yeah. So one of my favorite things I love doing with Sword of Amethyst, I will do a lot of games. I will equip this into my Cloud, because Cloud has the ability of allowing trigger abilities of equipments to trigger additional time. This combos up with Cloud very nicely, so I can dig through, grab a bunch of basic lands right off the bat, so that way I don't ever have to worry about being land stuck. I can just focus on doing my Boros thing, get my ramping out, and then like next turn later, I can just pop off and do my other things at a very fast, reasonable pace. So yeah, love this card to death. And then we have some hasty equipment. So we want to get that damage in. So we got a good amount of equipment that gives my stuff haste. So Lightning Greaves, Swift Boots, and Lava Spore Boots. Just a good way to give Dogmeat and my other equipped creatures haste and like a good type of protection in particular. So yeah, can't go wrong with some booties. Booties for the dog. Booties for the dog. And another haste enabler, and something else to also give Dogmeat flying. Cloak of the Bat. This has been a goat recently, I will say. Critical creature it costs 2 to cast, and it costs only 2 to equip. And for just two, so just for 2 mana to equip, it doesn't give your critical creature power, but having that said critical creature getting haste and flying immediately when you have decks, especially when you have cards in this deck, especially Dogmeat, that benefit from attacking a lot, and this helps you speed up your attacking with the flying for so cheap. Very helpful for this deck right here. I love this card so much. And then we have a couple cards that also give Dogmeat a little bit of shroud slash unblockable stuff. We have Whispering Cloak. Love this card so much. I mean, I actually no, I kind of like it to be honest. Equip the creature can't be blocked and has Shroud. Now, Shroud is kind of a little bit iffy. Yes, as we all know, Shroud says you cannot target your creature. So when you're utilizing Shroud cards, definitely be careful, especially with equipments, because you definitely you if you don't have a good amount of equipment and you already get your shroud stuff equipped to your creature, especially your Dogmeat, you do go through situations where you're like, man, why didn't I hold all this card? Because yeah, it's cool you're getting your Dogmeat unblockable, but and protection from your opponent's stuff, but with that shroud, you can't power up your Dogmeat, so you can't go in with that commander damage at a fast pace. So yeah, good card, but definitely be wary about the shroud. Definitely don't equip it to your Dogmeat very too soon or any of your important creatures, unless you absolutely know you don't need the extra equipment. And then this bad boy. I have fallen head over heels for this card in this deck, and I'm gonna get the full version of this card down the road. Silver Shroud Costu. I love this card. So it has Flash, which means you can play it during your opponent's turn. It has when Silver Shroud costume enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains Shroud until end of turn. So for 2 mana, you can. It does cost three to equip, but if you cast it, the second it enters, you can kill it to your Dogmeat immediately, which is nice without having to pay the 3 cards. The second you enter it, you can meanly quit it to your Dogmeat, give it Shroud to end of turn. So it's great. And why do we want to quit this card? Well, because it has a nice little ability of equipped creature can't be blocked. So this is your answer to annoying targeting cards that want to beat down Dogmeat. So your opponent wants a Path of Exile, Lightning Bolt, or they want to just straight up kill Dogmeat in general. You can play this immediate response, and then this card will immediately get quitted to Dogmeat. It'll only gain Shroud for that entire turn only, so it gives your Dogmeat a huge protection for one whole turn, and the second your turn comes, it has a useful ability of making sure your Dogmeat cannot be blocked. So it gives you protection and ability to be hyper aggressive and get that dog in. And even if you don't need the temporary shroud, if you happen to have the right stuff for the game, let's say you see an opening, you want to go for game, you could be like, yep, I got this, fam. Play this immediately before your turn begins, if you have the mana, of course. Equip this to your Dogmeat, and then have enough mana to when your turn comes to play more equipment and auras, obviously mostly equipment, and then not have to worry about the shroud part because the shroud part was over. And then when you go to combat, swing with your Dogmeat, and your Dogmeat just becomes huge for no reason, and he sneaks in that kill so easily. I've stolen so many games. I've stolen so many games. So many times I've seen the biggest smirks on my opponents. They build like impenetrable walls. I'm gonna, yeah, Christian, I got this creature or these tokens, all that such. That what are you gonna do? They are too big for your dog. But I'm gonna smile back, be like, during your end phase, Silver Shroud, equipped it to my Dogmeat. And the second they see this card, their smirks go immediately turn 180 upside down, and they turn into the biggest frauds ever. And I start laughing my ass off when that shit happens. It is so cool when it happens. And then you have your generic run of the mill equipment, nothing really too special. We have Shadow Spear. Finally picked this up for a good price. It's a good card, but it was not worth the $50 it was going for the longest while. It's fucking ridiculous. Uh, Golden Pick. Give me more treasures. Uh, Fire Shrieker. give critter creature dog meat. Dog meat. Give critter creature double strike. Wow. Basilisk Cower. Give critter creature lifelink and death touch. So another way to make sure your stuff goes through more. If they do block, you're guaranteed to kill that creature, no regardless. And the lifelink is definitely nice because you're playing Voltron. You need to gain that life back. And then something I'm kind of messing around with, and I kind of really do like it, Pre-War Formal Wear. I really like this card. What it does, for those guys who don't know, when this equipment enters the battlefield, return target creature from with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Attach this card. The creature gets +2/+2 and Veligence. So I love this card because, and it's happened. It's definitely helped me quite a bit, to be honest. There's mainly it is for obviously for Dogmeat, because Dogmeat only costs 3 mana. So, like I said previously with Light and Shadow, if Dogmeat is in my graveyard, if I have this in my hand, I will let Dogmeat die, so that way I don't have to pay commander tax. So when my turn comes, I can just play this bad boy, get my Dougie back, instead of paying the 5 mana. And as Dogmeat enters, mill 5, and then depending on what equipment I get, I can definitely do some other cool things with this thing. And if my ruling is if my ruling is correct, there's a combo. I haven't pulled this off yet. I've never done this yet. But if my ruling is correct, if you guys want to correct me in chat, please do. I would really do appreciate it. But if my ruling is correct, I believe if you use there it is. I believe if you use Formal Wearer to bring back Cloud Midgar, if Cloud uses his ability to search for equipment, since Cloud is currently equipped while he's entering next to this, would his ability trigger twice? Because Cloud did say it's not just equipment. He does say whenever equipment or his ability would trigger while he's equipped, his ability would trigger that ability would trigger twice. So if that's the case, if this is happening while Cloud is actually equipped this time, would you get 2 equipment searches? I gotta check out my ruling about that. I don't know if that can happen. I've never tested it out myself. I'm kind of curious too. I'm kind of scared to try it because I feel like it's gonna blow up my face. But hey, at the same time, fudge it. I'm gonna find a day to try this out, and hopefully it does come to my favor. If not, hold on. And then other equipment we're running this bad boy. I thought about doing a living weapon build where I use a buttload of equipment that has a living weapon ability. But for right now, at the moment, I'm just sticking with the one for now. Needle Fest. I love this card. It has living weapon, as I mentioned. It costs 3 to cast. It costs 2 to equip. The creature gets +2. Oh, I'm sorry, +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So that means your junk tokens. That means your other equipment and auras. Anything. Any other enchantments and equipment artifacts will definitely give a creature power up. So it's nice to have something else to have another creature with at the time with your Dogmeat. So you have more creatures to swing with and more junk tokens to produce. So that way you can have more junk tokens to do your junk token stuff. So maybe down the road I may try putting some more living weapons. But the main thing I use this card for is not only for that, but also if my germ dies, I can immediately put this into Dogmeat, and Dogmeat just becomes huge because of this, which is just hilarious. And then we have Champion's Helm. Nothing too special. Give creature +2/+2 and give it hexproof as long as that legendary. Mainly we're going to use this on Dogmeat, but we do have other legendaries, so this does become useful with other creatures. But obviously, again, for Dogmeat, because it's Voltron, Champion's Frail. Give Dogmeat +3 power, and as well as equipped to Dogmeat, it will definitely stop my opponents from being able to do stuff during my turn, which is cool. Cool effect. Yeah. And then Hammer of Nazan. This card is nuts. Giving all your equip to all your creatures with any equipment as they enter is just hilarious. And give a quick creature +2/+0 is also very nice too. It does cost pretty big to enter. It does cost pretty big to equip as well. But hey, even if you can't equip it, it's still useful. Helps you get more free equipments when your equipments enter. So yeah, still a great card overall. And then Power Fists. combos all with Genji Glove. Power Fist gives a critical creature +1/+1 counters and trample. It gives trample, and whenever a critical creature deals combat damage, it gains that much +1/+1 counters. So this with Genji Glove, which gives a critical creature double strike and the ability to essentially attack twice, is just a hilarious combo. I've just knocked people out of the park with these cards with Dogmeat. It is just nuts when this combo goes off. And then Threatened Power Suit. Not a terrible card. It is definitely very good. Gives a quick creature +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to that creature. And it does give a ward too, which is definitely very well. It doesn't power up your Dogmeat compared to Needlefest. It does have the added protection to your Dogmeat at the very least with the ward 2, and you're playing Voltron, so you are going to get a good amount of equipments and auras onto your Dogmeat. So in the long run, this definitely does help out, especially once you get really good equipment equipped to this. And then next up, we have a Quantum Armor. I don't often play this card. This is normally the main card I normally set in the graveyard or something like that. I usually reserve playing this when I either have a free equipment or a free cast with this card. I try to avoid paying full price for this card. I have combos where I can get this card very easily for free, no problem. So I save this card. This is normally the card I leave in my graveyard the most, unless I get my free equipments going. But when I do get critical Dogmeat, giving Dogmeat +6/+6 and the ability to destroy target permanent whenever I attack that player is for free is definitely very useful. So if I lose this permanently, it's no skin on my bones. It's normally reserved for when I have the right setup. So as you see right here throughout the deck, you're not going to see a lot of big high costly equipment stuff. This is the only one we're going to be playing. Hence why we're playing more of a Boros theme-ish with this deck right here. We're playing cheap requirement cards. We're playing cards that cost very dirt cheap to cast and such. Because we want to get in our damage fast as we can. But we do have this on standby just in case. And it has saved my pickle a couple times. Colossus Hammer. Because you have stuff that allows you to equip for free or dirt cheap sometimes. And when that happens, oh, a with your Dogmeat. It is hilarious. And here we go, chat. Here's the infect I warned you all. Grafted exoskeleton. Yep. Here comes the dislike buttons. Here comes the hate comments. Yep. So yeah, red exoskeleton. Sometimes commander damage is not going to be enough, and sometimes you need that one player to die immediately. So if the commander damage is not enough, you have the grounded exoskeleton by standby just in case. And boy, oh boy, do people hate this card for good reason. Especially when this is equipped to Dogmeat. Every time I tell my wife I come home from playing Magic, when I use this card on Dogmeat, my wife's always yelling at me, "Stop giving Dogmeat rabies." Where everyone of my locals, my wife, and everybody, we always joke that every time we play this card on my Dogmeat, we always joke that Dogmeat has rabies and such like that. And my wife is always yelling, "Stop giving a damn dog rabies." It's so funny. And that's it. We're playing with equipment, and all we're playing for everything else for artifacts is just your obvious stuff: Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. I don't think I need to explain with those guys. And yeah, that is it for the equipment. Now moving on to the creatures actually. So it's not normal. It's not normal how we do our profiles. We normally. Oh, by the way, yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that when we can. I'm sorry. Uh, Normally we do creatures first, then artifacts, etc. such first. But since this is a Voltron deck, and the goal of the deck is to utilize the equipments more, that's why I did the equipments first, got them out of the way. The creatures are kind of more of a standby. They're obviously not obsolete for obvious reasons. They definitely, every creature plays a role in this deck right here. We do have creatures to not only attack alongside with Dogmeat, so we can have more creatures attack with to get more junk tokens with. but also the majority of these creatures are here to more likely to support Dogmeat. Like there is some obvious creatures that are there for the attacking as well, along with support. Some creatures are there for support, some are there for attacking, some are more hybrid, but more towards the supporting. But again, we do got some beefy creatures that we do have, or even some decent creatures that we do attack alongside with Dogmeat, so that way we get more junk tokens. So for the creatures, we have Birds of Paradise, Delight Halfling. No explanation with these cards right here. You're playing green despite playing very low green. Why not? Take as much advantage of ramping as much as you can. And then we're playing some creatures that do some equipment searching. We play the Cloud Midgard Mercenary, as we showcased like twice already. We play Stoneforge Mystic, and we play Callan the Fear-Blooded. The goals of these cards right here is just pretty much simple, straightforward. User effects, search your equipment. Or creatures that can search your equipment. Worst case scenario, they get your equipment, so you can equip it onto your Dogmeat. Best, especially as Mystic, because she has the ability where you can tap her, get your equipment on board. And Callan's not terrible either, because if you do ever choose to hard cast him after you pay for his ability to venture to tutor for equipment, he can definitely help out Dogmeat as well on that aspect too, because sometimes you will choose equipment at times. But yeah, the main goal is just search out your equipment, do your equipment stuff. So yeah, cool things. And then those are our equipment searching creatures. Now we have our equipment supporting creatures. We have Pure Steel Paladin. No explanation needed about Pure Steel Paladin. I think a lot of people hate this card enough as it is. Senior Artificer. We're playing artifact. We're playing equipments and a little bit of auras. So yeah, every time we play aura or equipment, again mostly equipment, get free draws along with this guy. And then some equipment recruiter cards. Actually, we have Brotherhood Outlast. It does have a nice ability to give Dogmeat a shield counter. I have used that like once or twice, not too often, but mainly we use this for the ability to get equipment that costs 3 or mana less from our graveyard to the battlefield. Because sometimes there are some equipments that, unfortunately, even with the equipment support we have, and oh yeah, before I forget, our Ironclad Slayer, because he pretty much does something similar like that too. When Slayer enters the battlefield, you may return target aura equipment from graveyard to your hand. So yeah, sometimes you're not always going to get your stuff from your graveyard to your hand or graveyard to the battlefield without the support of Dogmeat, unfortunately. But these are just nice to help you give you some additional options so you can have more ways to do that. And speaking of getting back your equipment, we are running a good tech creature that helps us do that as well. Since we're playing green, we get to now have access to something that Boros technically never had access to. Danatha, New Bellinger's Light. For those guys who don't know who she is, she's a legendary creature, human knight. For a green, white, and one of anything for a 2/2. She has Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink. So already right off the bat, she's really good as she is. But what we use her for is once each during your turns, you may cast an aura or equipment spell from your graveyard from your graveyard. So yeah, a nice additional way to help us recruit back some equipments, so that way we can start doing some combos very easily, more efficiently. Because like I said, you're not always going to be able to get equipment back a lot with your Dogmeat. You can't always rely on your Dogmeat to get your equipment back. Thankfully, you have cards like that to help you do that. And then we have something I'm kind of messing around with. I kind of do like it. We have Rionu Headmaster. Equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and equipment abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. So your casting cost and your equipment cost goes down 1 less each, and which in the long run definitely helps out a lot. Just having him on board and then having your Dogmeat going to be able to equip your creatures to your equipment at a faster rate is definitely very beneficial for a long run. And it comes out with another card in particular, which I'll get to at the end of the creatures. And then next up we have Master Smith. Give all my cryptic creatures or enchanted creatures double strike. We're playing equipment. We're playing technically Voltron, so why not? And then this guy. Uh, a lot of times you will have a lot of equipments that are just sitting on the battlefield and not enough mana to equip them all, especially the few bigger ones you've seen. This is just nice where you don't always have to worry about that, because this guy just says, "Hey, by the way, you see all those equipments? Here, Dogmeat, have at them. Have all your equipments, have all your toys, free of charge, buddy. Go nuts." And then another cool card I've been really liking this deck right here. While it is again technically a Boros deck, it is still Naya nonetheless. But this still does play very Boros, and this also and by playing Naya, this gives Boros yet another way to play a card that Boros, along with Power Fist, forgot to mention, never had access to. Klutze. Opponents can't cast spells during my turn, and if I attack with a creature whose power is higher than its original power, you're playing equipment and aura, so that's going to happen a lot. You get to draw a card. So, free card draw and free stop your opponents from casting stuff during your turn. Very helpful in a Boros deck. And then this is one of my favorite Boros creatures I'm running in this deck, and I love him so much. Zeldin don't like him because of a Disney joke we go through a lot. This is Bruno, Battlehammer. If you've been playing Magic since at least the 2013s, I think you obviously know who this card is. But for those guys who don't know who he is, because he is kind of old, all your creatures gain, all creatures, essentially keep it simple, all your creatures you control, Dogmeat or anybody, all, regardless if he's equipped or not, all creatures you control gain +2 power for each equipped that's on that creature. So if your Dogmeat has, let's say, 3 equipments, while Bruno has 2 equipments, Bruno will give himself +2/+2 for each of those 2 equipments, giving him +4, and he'll also get, while also giving Dogmeat +6 power, because Dogmeat has the 6 equipments. And let me tell you, that is definitely very helpful, and even has a nice additional ability of you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost of the first equip you cast of the turn. So if you have a heavy costing equipment that costs a lot, say Colossal Hammer or the armor I showed previously, you could just equip those for free at the moment, and then all your other equipments that are cost dirt cheap can be cast for dirt cheap or equipped for dirt cheap. So yeah, Bruno, very helpful. Now you do run through a lot of games a lot where you don't always have the need for the final ability, believe it or not. I mean, it's there to have just in case, because you never know when it'll get taken away from you. But even if that last ability becomes obsolete, giving Dogmeat plus God knows how much power for free while he's just sitting there rooting for Dogmeat as he watches Dogmeat get huge, hilarious. All right, last 2 creatures. We have Estor, Bearer of Blades. So this is the combo card to, where is he? Hutsman, I think his name was. Yeah, he is. Yeah, this is the combo to the Hutsman I was talking about earlier. But I'll read him real quickly because not too many people see him these days. So for those of you guys who don't know what he does, Bearer of Blades is a 4/4 for Boros, red, white, and 2 of anything for a human warrior. Esther says, when Esther Blades enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an equipment or vehicle card from among them and put them in your hand and put the rest of the body of your library in order. So it's kind of works kind of like a little bit of a weird version of Dogmeat, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, it's only when he first enters, so you can't really recycle that ability again unless you like, say you return back with like Light and Shadow or something related as such. You get him back from the grave, or you have like another way to get him back from the graveyard to your hand to the battlefield because of some other effect. You can use that ability again, which is not bad food for thought, but it's kind of doesn't really feel worth it when you rather you do that with Dogmeat for obvious reasons. But what you use him for is not only for the good 1-drop and doing that, and have like another warrior, no pun intended, to attack alongside with Dogmeat with equipments to do other things. What you mainly use him for is Obviously, ignore the vehicle part because we're not playing vehicles. But equipment you control have equip 1. That means all your equipment, you don't have to pay 2, you don't have to pay 5, you don't have to pay 10. All your equipment that would normally cost God knows how long can now only be equipped to 1. So he makes equipping to your creatures so much easier. And this is the combo I was mentioning with Hutsman earlier. Because if you have these two together, all your equipment can essentially become equipped for free. So you can just literally rearrange your whole board for free as long as your opponent has no responses or any of that such. And when that happens, whoo, you just build big boards with Dogmeat for no reason. And then the final creature of the deck is Nahiri, Forge of Fury. Now this is a cool card. It has affinity for artifacts, or sorry, affinity for equipments. So if you call, she normally costs 6 mana, including a red and white. But if you have 4 equipments, at least she'll only cost 2 to cast, which is pretty nice. But so she's 5/4. So casting this for 2 mana for 5/4 is really nice. A great candidate to be equipped with creatures along with your Dogmeat, which is definitely very helpful. But what you're running this bad girl for is whenever the equip the creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. You may cast equipment spells this way without paying their mana cost. So, like Bearer Blades, she's essentially another weird version of Dogmeat. Another way to allow you to dig through your deck at a very fast rate, especially equipments, so you can just get your board going right out the bat. Now, again, as I mentioned with Dogmeat, with his ability, with the exile, with the junk tokens, if you don't play that card with her ability before your turn ends, they will unfortunately stay permanently exiled. So definitely keep that in mind if you're going to be running her in this deck right here. But when you get her golf going, you can just make big pluses with it on your board for no reason. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we are nearing the final part of the video. We're going to be running the rest of the remaining enchantments I forgot to show earlier. We have Surrogate's Aid and Forge Anew. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory stuff right here. I think we've seen enough how these cards pop off to enough point to know how good these cards are, which is nuts. And we are running a small tutor engine. We have Steel Shifter's Gift, Open the Armory. Yeah, a nice tutor engine right here. Oh, more ways to grab our equipment and auras. Mainly equipment with this, but equipment or auras with this. Yeah, tutors. And then this is what I'm calling the interaction section. We have Sword of Plowshare, because Sword of Plowshare. Path of Exile, because it's Path of Exile. Chaos Warp. We all know what Chaos Warp does. Heroic Intervention to give my stuff protection. Oh, not protection. Indestructible and hexproof to no turn. Single combat, because this is a Voltron deck. If you play this while you only have Dogmeat, while your opponent has a buttload of creatures, especially if your Dogmeat is equipped with a buttload of swords, you play single combat, wipe your opponent's board, and they can't block with their last creatures because of your swords. It is just hilarious. And it also has a nice ability to lock your creature. Even if you, for some odd reason, don't kill your opponents the turn you play this card right here, it stops all opponents from playing their further creatures or planeswalkers. So potentially you could kill up to 2 players playing this card right here. Maybe all 3 of them if you have like a double attacker and all that such, like the Genji Vist and all that such. And finally, to wrap up the deck, Blast Act, because it's, well, Blast Act. And yeah, everybody, that right there was my Dogmeat Ever Loyal deck profile. I hope you guys really like the deck. I really do appreciate this deck profile. You guys enjoy this deck profile. It really does mean a lot to me. This is a deck that I put a lot of heart and soul into perfecting gameplay wise. Eventually, like I'm doing with Dragon and Atraxa, I will be definitely doing a rarity bump to literally all my cards if I can with this deck right here. I'm on the path doing that with Dragon, as you guys saw before. I'm on a path doing that with Atraxa, and recently I've started now doing that with Dogmeat. And yeah, it's gonna be a bumpy road. But I'm sure we're definitely gonna get there. Maybe I'll go with the same theme with all my decks, have like retro frame falls. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the video. And I'm out. Bye. Peace. And I love yous.